Hi guys, KP this side from InvestorWise. Hope all of you are doing good. We are back with another video today where I will be taking on the questions that you have in mind. The first question that is from Mr. Siddhant Jain. He wants to know what should be considered as long term. He has got a very good question here. He's saying that a lot of times analysts will say this particular script is good for long term, but then he wants to know what exactly is the meaning of long term. So let me give you a couple of points here. First of all, long term is a very subjective term. For some people 6 months can be a long term, and for some other people maybe even 6 years is not a long term. So different people have different definition of long term. But what I personally suggest is not to look at long term from duration perspective. Rather, you should look at long term from the upside that you are expecting in a stock. So basically what I mean to say by that is, somebody says you should buy Infosys for a long term. That means if you are buying Infosys, let's say at current market price of 920, and you are expecting an upside of 30%. So basically you are going to hold on to Infosys for the upside of 30%. That 30% may take any amount of time, but you are not going to get rid of Infosys till the time you get 30% return on that. So basically, when we use different valuation methods for valuing a particular stock, none of the methods teach us the period for which you need to hold the stock. The methods will always teach you what is the correct value for a particular script. What I mean by that is, if I have in mind that Infosys can go up by 30%, it means I can easily buy Infosys and hold it till the time I don't get my 30% return. Yes, we do have some time duration in mind, but does not matter. If I feel at 9:30 I can buy Infosys and I see an upside of 30% in the stock, then in that case, probably I will continue holding my stock till I get 30% return on that. And after 30% return has been generated, we probably will sell the stock and start looking for other cheap stocks available in the market. Now, another thing he wants to know is, how do we know if we need to continue holding on to the stock? That's another good question, Siddhant. I feel there is a lot of analysis you need to do for the economy or for that particular sector as a whole to decide if you need to continue holding on to the stock. Like for example, if at this point of time somebody would have purchased Dr. Reddy, okay, the stock of Dr. Reddy has shown a lot of fireworks in the last 1 month or so. One is because of the fact that it's from the pharma sector, and pharma sector has really outperformed in last 1 month or so. The fact is that Dr. Reddy has done really good results also in this quarter, and since we are going through a COVID situation, all these pharma stocks are in very good prospects of developing the vaccine for corona, as a result of which the investors are bullish on these stocks. So the thing is, if suppose you have purchased Dr. Reddy at 3800, let's say you have purchased it at 3800, and right now the price is 4600 for Dr. Reddy, but since we know that pharma sector is still going to outperform given the overall circumstances, there is nothing wrong with holding on to this stock for some more time. So going by the sector, we still feel that keeping your money invested in Dr. Reddy is not a bad choice. But again, I always say this, you should have some stock price targets in mind based on which you should continue holding on to the stock. Once that target is done, I always say this, and I repeat myself, there are plenty of stocks in the market available at cheaper valuation no matter what. Even if Nifty does 15,000 mark, people will not stop investing in money. Yes, with Nifty or index hitting a new high every day, you just have to become more and more cautious about your stock picking. That is what matters at the end of the day. In whatever range index is trading, there are always stocks available at cheaper valuation. You should have the art of knowing what stocks can still give you an upside. That is very important. I hope I answered you with this one. Next question is by Mr. Harsh Shah. He is asking me about a couple of stocks. One is United Breweries and one is Voltamp Transformers. Both these stocks, first of all, a clear-cut disclaimer, both these stocks, almost to all our clients, we have recommended these stocks in the past, and a lot of them are already holding them in their existing portfolio. Let me start with United Breweries. For United Breweries, I have already done a video in collaboration with United Spirits, and for me, United Breweries is a very good stock which deals in spirits. So for United Breweries, right now the price is 963. which is, you can understand, it has a 52-week low of 749 and a 52-week high of 1396, which means the stock is still available at a 40% discount to its its 52-week high. The reason why stock is struggling a little bit is for obvious reasons. They haven't done very good June results. The June quarter results were declared just in the last week. In fact, they were declared on Friday itself. For obvious reasons, because of lockdown and all, they have not been able to register very good numbers. Their net profit figures for the last year, that is 2019, were 164 crores of net profit. Year on year for this quarter, they have registered a loss of 114 crores. So yes, because of that, the stock is under pressure. But for me, this is a very good time to enter into this stock. At 964, you can definitely buy this stock, since now we are into a phase of lockdown going away. So we feel that once this unlocking is going to take place, there will be more and more sales for the booze, as a result of which I see that 1030, 1040 is an easy upside that can be achieved by this particular script. Fundamentally, it's a very good stock, and I feel that the stock has a lot of potential on the upside. Definitely you can purchase this stock. If you already have it, then in that case you should continue holding on to it. If you look at its PE ratio, then its P ratio is 60 times, which is on a very high side. Its price to book value ratio is again 7 times, which if you strictly speak, fundamentally does not appear to be very attractive number. But then I told you, when you're doing stock analysis, you just don't look at its P ratio or price to book value ratio and decide if you should buy a stock. There are many other factors to be considered. As far as the business model is concerned, as I told you, they are dealing in products which probably is the first thing that people want if they're addicted to it. So as soon as we have this unlocking situation going on, the demand for booze is going to pick up very rapidly, and accordingly this company will do good. During lockdown also, they started with sales of alcohol, but then many different states have imposed VAT, as a result of which companies have suffered on their profitability. And obviously with VAT being imposed as high as 40, 50, 60%, the sales have diminished for some of these companies, as a result of which the numbers are not looking very promising. But this is only a temporary phase, and with the second quarter I expect company will revive very strongly. So yes, for me United Breweries is a very good buy at its current price of 963. If you have it, you should continue holding it. If you don't have it, since I told you the results were declared on Friday, maybe tomorrow and day after tomorrow, that is Monday and Tuesday, you can see for the stock it might show some more correction. Once you see it has consolidated, then definitely you can enter into the stock with a target of 1030, 1040 in mind. That is my first target for the stock. Second is Voltamp. Voltamp again is a very good stock. We have already got a lot of clients buy it. A lot of targets in the past have been done. The stock is very good. This year, for the June numbers have already been declared. They have done a net profit of 19 crores as against last year June quarter results showing a net profit of 16 crores. So surprisingly, they have shown more net profit this year. It is having a very good EPS of 88 rupees and a stupendous book value of 740 rupees. P ratio being 12 times, price to book value ratio being just 1.48 times, make the stock look very, very promising at its current price of 1095. 52-week high is 1483. So you can see that stock is still available at a 35 to 40% discount. There is no reason why you can't buy this stock. If you already have it, continue holding your stock. Even if you look at it as a fresh buy opportunity, then also I feel this stock is very, very good. I hope I answered you, Harsh. Next question is by Nisit Patel and also Anil. These two people have asked me a similar kind of a question where they want to know if you are doing CA, then in that case what can be possibly done if you are looking for a career in stock market. Okay, so the first thing is, I always say this: if you are a chartered accountant and you want to make a full-fledged career in stock market, I would suggest that you should give it a second thought, because I feel as a chartered accountant you can get a very good job in the industry or even in the compliances where you can work with Big Four. So my suggestion is, initially you should not target being a full-fledged stock market trader or investor. You should have a job in hand, and along with your job also you can take out time and spend some time in sharpening your skills for the financial markets or capital markets. And over a period of time, once you have enough capital where you can independently survive yourself, get your bread and butter only from equity markets, till that time you should parallelly keep increasing your knowledge with every passing day. Start investing money obviously in equity markets, read more about it, do some courses like CFA to increase your knowledge. Those all things can be done. But if you are full-fledgedly wanting to work as an independent stock trader, my suggestion is that will be a little dangerous as far as your future prospects are concerned. However, if your question was that you are looking for a profile which relates to stock market, maybe that is what you are intending to ask me. If you are looking for a profile in stock market, then in that case my suggestion would be that you should plan to do MBA from top 20 B schools, MBA in finance. That can really help you enhance your career prospects for the stock markets. So maybe after doing your CA, you can look for a couple of years in the industry, maybe in accounting and finance work. Along with that, need to prepare for CAT, start doing some stock analysis during this time. We also have a course on Equipedia which is very useful, because that is where we teach you how to independently do analysis of these stocks. That can be very useful for you. And with this practical exposure, then you can plan doing your MBA for a couple of years, and after that there is no looking back. Definitely you will find some very good opportunities in investment banking. Okay, I hope guys I answered you. Next question is by Dhaval Shah. He's asking, do you expect some correction in the market? See, Dhaval, I always say this, corrections are part of the market. Just like bull is the part of the market, similarly bear is also the phase of the market. And this is always going to happen. Why do we make it sound so different this time when index is at 11,100, 200 mark? Why is it that there are so many people talking about, are we going to enter into a bear phase now? See, what happened during March was a very different situation, which probably happens once in decades or centuries. It does not happen every now and then. Otherwise, ups and downs in the market are just a part and parcel of it. That will always happen. That does not take away anything from any opportunities in the market. You always have great opportunities in the market. As I'm continuously saying this, you have to only get more and more careful with stock picking, with markets hitting new highs every day. That does not, nobody claims this in this market, that market will not show you a downside. In fact, every downside should be looked upon as an opportunity to invest. Some good stocks will show correction during those downsides, and that is when you should look for opportunities in buying these stocks. I'll share a small instance with you. A few days back, one of my relatives, he asked me that with markets being at almost very high levels, do you still feel there are some stocks which are cheap available at a cheaper price, or you feel the markets are fully priced? It's not like that. You need to understand that. I gave him an example of Bharat Forge. So I don't want to boast about myself here, but I told him that with all the auto sector stocks going high, Bharat Forge is one stock which has still not shown a lot of upside. And we were speaking about this, like, let's say 10 days back, and last week Bharat Forge has done one day 15% up. That is always going to happen. That is what I'm making you understand. If market goes down also, some correction happens in the market, 300 400 points correction happens in the market, that is where you as an investor should feel really happy, and you should be excited about it, because that gives you an opportunity to buy the right stocks. That is why when markets are going up, if you have already purchased some good stocks, you can book your profits. And if markets are giving you a downside, that is where an opportunity is created again for you to reinvest in some good stocks. So yes, if you are talking about some drastic fall in market, probably that is never going to happen now, where you are talking about Nifty going down by 200 to 2,000, 2,500 points, or Sensex going down by 5,000, 6,000 points. That probably we will not see again, until and unless something very crazy happens in the at macroeconomic level. But as far as small corrections are concerned, they are always going to happen. That's an inevitable part of the market, and that is always welcomed, because if those things happen, that is when we get an opportunity to buy some good stocks. What is my take on Yes Bank? Dhaval is asking another question. Yes Bank at its current market price, there's nothing for you to lose, right? For a bank, in which RBI has taken some strict actions. They have locked in the scripts for existing shareholders. They are trying their level best to revive the bank. I have told this again many a times in the past. Banks getting license is the most difficult thing on earth, and once a bank is given a license, banks filing for bankruptcy is the last thing an economy can experience. They will not let that happen so easy. So as far as Yes Bank is concerned, the share which you have seen trading at 400 450 rupees, if now available at 13 rupees, you should not even give it a second thought to buy, because the downside for the stock is just 13 rupees. On the upside, 100%, 200%, 300% return is very much achievable. So the risk to reward ratio is very much favorable in for the investors. Definitely you can buy Yes Bank, but again, considering it a penny stock, I don't want to do some crazy buying like 10,000 or 20,000 shares. I want to go slow with it, let it do some consolidation, let it show some upside, let some good news come for the bank from the authorities who are given the job to help bank revive, and then slowly you can add up onto your quantity, but don't go for too much of quantity right now. Third question he's asking is, what about technical analysis and derivatives? I always feel this, and some people might differ with me on this. I don't feel technical analysis derives this market. It is the fundamental analysis which drives the market. Technical analysis can only be used as a supporting tool. You need to understand that. There are many more things which have an impact on the stock rather than just seeing the psychology of traders or investors in the past, mainly the traders. It's not so easy. If it was so easy, everybody would invest in some technical indicators software and everybody will start making massive money from the market. A lot of bullshit theories are available on YouTube. You got to stop watching them. It's not important that you have to burn your hands before understanding that fire is dangerous for you. It's not required. So it's not like you only do technical analysis and you make a lot of money in this market. Let people say whatever they have to say, but I'm a strong believer that until and unless you are not very clear about your fundamental knowledge about these stocks, there is no point investing in them just because some indicators are showing that the stock will show an upside. Technical indicators can only be used, be it investments or be it derivatives. Technical indicators can only be used as a supporting tool, but just based on them blindly you cannot invest in the stocks. That is my take. Again, people can differ and I'm very happy about people differing with me on this. Equity markets, guys, you need to understand something. Everybody thinks they are champion, and I've told this in the past also. A lot of people come to me for services only when they have already suffered huge losses in the market. So as far as markets are concerned, nobody is wrong and nobody is right. Everything that you speak can be debated upon and everything can be challenged. So when people challenge me, I invite their challenges. It's okay. Let actions speak. That is why whatever we are doing, we keep posting it on Facebook. Not to boast about ourselves, but to show that what we are doing as a homework is working for us for the last 10, 11 years, and it will continue to work by God's grace in future also. Okay. Next is Mr. Ashik Jose. He's asking, what about loan restructuring against moratorium that has been recently announced by RBI? Ashik, I feel loan restructuring, another guy, I think Mr. Manoj, he has a similar question who also asked me that what is my take on one-time restructuring. Okay, I feel loan restructuring is any day better than the third moratorium extension, which we were anticipating, but it did not happen. So if you would have gone for a moratorium is where you would have allowed almost every company not to pay their EMIs for next 3 months or 6 months, whatever it could have been a period. But loans restructuring is where they have come up with a idea that only those companies which have suffered because of COVID-19 situation, and if they are not able to pay, then their loan restructuring should be done. They should be given some time where they can recover from this COVID-19 pandemic, and later on they can start rescheduling their EMIs, be it interest or the principal. Any day restructuring is better than moratorium, and this is a good news for the banking sector. Then why banking sector stocks are falling so much, or the financial sector stocks are falling so much? For one simple reason, because investors are not very confident that even with this restructuring or no moratorium extension, the businesses have suffered so much that it might become difficult for them to get back to normal. Until the time they don't have their productions, their consumptions, their sales hitting to the normals, till that time it will become very difficult for companies to pay back, and that is where we fear NPAs coming in, fresh NPAs coming in. Some good companies also going for CDRs, corporate debt restructurings, or filing of bankruptcies. That is the fear. If all this happens, then yes, in those circumstances banks will suffer, as a result of which people are being very bearish on banking sector. But does that mean that banks will not have a good future from here on in stock market? Not so easy theory. You need to understand, RBI has given a lot of stimulus, RBI has given a lot of time to companies. They have shown a lot of leniency towards companies. They have given them time to make payments, and in those circumstances we are very hopeful that as soon as businesses will get back to normal, these companies will pay back their loans. So even in restructuring, if you see, they have considered certain norms before allowing restructuring. It's not that restructuring has been allowed blindly to every company, not like that. They have taken the date as 1st March 2020. As on 1st March 2020, if any loan has been considered as standard loan and it's not in default for a period of 30 days, as on March 1 2020, only then companies can apply for restructuring. Whereas in case of moratorium, you know what, a lot of banks have reported that in case of moratorium, some companies are taking undue advantage of it, where they could have easily paid their EMIs, they could have easily paid their installments of loan. They still are not paying it just because they are getting this moratorium advantage. So any day loan restructuring is better for financial sector. Mind it, I'm making it very clear, with no moratorium coming in, still the kind of upside we expected in banking stocks, that has not yet come, and we are anticipating that will come. Almost, if you see, cement sector, FMCG sector, pharma sector, IT sector, all of them have shown a lot of upside. So there is a good chance for financial sector to show an upside. Whenever the next rally is going to come in markets, probably financial sector will show an upside. So we have to be prepared for that. I hope I answered you, Ashik and Manoj. Vaibhav wants to know, what about FDC? Okay, FDC again is one stock which we recommended to a lot of our clients in the range of 260 to 250, 260, 270, and we have done our targets comfortably around 300 rupees. We made an exit out of the stock. The reason stock has gone up to its current high of 324 and it is trading very close to its 52-week high is because they have announced a buyback at the rate of rupees 450 per share. And this company is a pharma sector company. They have their presence all across India, with their operations being in Maharashtra, Goa and Himachal Pradesh. Company has developed something like ORS. We are very much aware about ORS. We have once in a while we take that ORS for energy boosters, and also you might be knowing about it. And they do a lot of ingredients for different pharma sector companies, and also they prepare the final dose of some medicines. So this is a pharma sector stock. Anyways, it is also enjoying the bull run, but is it a good stock to buy right now? Probably I don't want to buy it because it has already shown a lot of upside. Yes, if you only want to try your luck with the buyback at a 450 price, yes, in that case you can try your luck. But how much of your stock will be taken in buyback, that is a very important thing you have to see. So if you buy 100 shares of FDC at its current market price, probably 25-30% of it might be taken up in buyback. The rest of the stocks you have to hold on to it. So yes, if you are having it, then you can try your luck, you can hold on to it and expect some good returns in buyback process. But if you don't have it, probably I don't want to put fresh money into it at its given price. Albin Thomas wants to know, what about ICICI Bank QIP? ICICI Bank QIP has been really good. They have collected around 15,000 crores in this QIP, and they have set the floor price as 358. This news was made public, I think, yesterday itself, which is a good news. They have offered their QIP at 358. And their current market price is 361.4, if I remember it correctly. So a lot of good investors have come in, like the Singapore Central Bank have also participated in this QIP. ICICI Bank is the second largest private sector bank in India, and at its current price and the kind of results they have posted in their last quarter, I feel ICICI Bank is due for a very, very good upside. And once that upside comes, as I told you, just because of this loan restructuring and all, things start looking so complicated that people don't really want to get into financial sector. But if I have to put my money in financial sector, for me, the two best stocks at this point of time are HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. At their current market prices, these two stocks are very good. In fact, Harisha is also asking me a question, who probably is my client and is worried because we are holding on to ICICI Bank call of 370 for a long time now. Yes, Harisha, we have all the reasons to be tensed. Even I am very tense right now because I have played very bullish on ICICI Bank, and I just hope that my decision of holding on to ICICI Bank 370 call does not turn out to be loss making for all our clients. But as I said, I feel this stock is waiting for an upside at least to the range of 400 to 410. So based on that, buying a 370 call, which was not even out of the money call, I have a lot of expectations, and given that we have done averaging of it, a lot of expectations that we might do some good profits in this script. So their QIP has been successful. It was subscribed 4 or 5 times. They have set a very good floor price, which is people were anticipating around 351 as a floor price, but they have kept it at 358. So we expect that it might show very good upside. All we need is markets to support this. If overall markets are well placed for next week, that is the next coming week, we might expect some very good upside in ICICI Bank. And even from investment perspective, guys, you can blindly buy ICICI Bank shares at its current market price of 361 and wait for a minimum target. Minimum I am saying is 400, but otherwise my first target is 425, which can be achieved in a small period of time. So you can definitely consider buying this stock. Once that target is done, I will give a snapshot of this video and I will post it on InvestorWise. Take my words for that. Akash is asking me, what are the factors that you consider before buying a stock? I think I've already made a lot of videos, Akash, on this, so I will keep it very short. Nikunj is also asking me a similar kind of a question. Few of the factors, I don't want to ignore your question, but I have done a lot of videos on this, so please see those videos. But still, I would go for the business model. Like I told you, I always first consider the business model, how the business model is doing at a given point of time. That is very important. I will look at the EPS of the company, because as a shareholder, the first thing that creates my wealth is the EPS. I look at the price to earning ratio, compare it with the industry average. I will look at the price to book ratio. Anything below 3 times is good for me. I'll see how much debt company has taken. They should not have a lot of interest burden. I will also consider the reserves that company is sitting on, which increases their buying power. Tomorrow, if they want to go for expansion internally, or they want to go for some expansions inorganically, like they want to buy companies, their reserves are going to be useful for them. So I will look at their reserves, plus I will also see the corporate governance of the organization, how transparent they are with their operations, and I will also see what is the trend of revenue and net profit growth in last few years. These are the factors which I will consider when I buy a stock. I hope, guys, I answered you. Prashant is asking me, what do you see when you trade in options? There are a lot of things to consider, Prashant, when we do the options. Yes, first is because we do mostly buying of options, so there has to be some news that we are anticipating which will create that push in the prices. Push can be upside or downside. If we are expecting upside, we will go for a call, or if we are expecting downside, we will go for a put. But as far as buying options is concerned, you are not only anticipating the direction of the movement in stock prices, you are also betting on the time within which that movement should happen. So first of all, very important is to see if there is some news which is going to impact the prices, like results are going to come out, or company is going to come up with its buyback, or a QIP news is going to come for banking stocks, especially right now, the kind of situation that we have. Second, I will see how much is the liquidity in the option. So in India, we have 3 months expiry options also, but there is hardly any liquidity. So if you are in the month of August, you will have to buy August month options naturally, because for September and October, hardly there will be any trading in options. So liquidity becomes another very important criteria. So when I am giving any option to you, any option trade to you, for me liquidity is very important, because if there is no great liquidity, then prices will be manipulated easily by the sellers. That is why liquidity becomes very important. Third important thing is to see the exercise price of the option. You can't buy too much out of the money option, because if you do that, then in that case the time decay, okay, the premium decay of the option will be faster. So you need to buy an option which is not very close, but almost close to the current market price. So your exercise price also plays a significant role. If you buy too much in the money option, then you might end up paying a lot of premium also. So somewhere close to your current market price, an option should be be having an exercise price, but not it should not be too much in the money, and it should not be too much out of the money also. That is what we have to consider as if we are going for buying of options. Next is support and resistance has to be checked. That is the technical part of it. You have to use classical, or you have to use Fibonacci. You have to use some support resistance theories to justify your buying or selling of options. And another thing which I would consider is the premium. That whether the premium is justified or not has to be seen before recommending any option trade to the clients. Because sometimes what happens is the premium is not justified when you are trading in options. They will artificially inflate the prices of the options. And I feel something similar happened with ICICI Bank option that we have taken. When we took the option of ICICI Bank, the stock was trading at 357. We paid 18.85 for that option with a strike price of 370. Now in last couple of days the stock went up to 375. Still the option premium was around 14 or 15 rupees. So you can understand options are very challenging, especially with the time decay of the option decay, because this is something you can't challenge. One of my clients wrote me a message that said this is a sheer cheating thing being done. We should report this to NSE or BSE. You can do it, guys. You can try your luck, but this is not going to work because the pricing of options is such a demand supply kind of a thing that they can just manipulate it and change it, and you don't even have any concrete evidence supporting your justification why option premium should change more or change less. It becomes very, very difficult. Sushant is asking me, Sushant is again my client, and he's asking me what are your expectations about HDFC Limited. We are holding on to an option of HDFC Limited also, and yes, this is another option which is becoming a pain right now. For me, it is a big tension right now because we are holding on to two lots of HDFC Limited. Company has posted good numbers in this quarter. Still, stock is not showing any upside. Sushant, I'm first of all publicly speaking this. I'm really sorry. Probably I have been too much overconfident about this particular script, which I should not have done. Now when I do the post-facto analysis, when we do the backward-looking analysis, it becomes very easy to put blames. This should not have been done or this should not have been done. But still, as an advisor, it becomes my responsibility to be accurate to the largest extent. But if I have to give you a couple of reasons, Sushant, number one reason is that they have posted very good numbers. In fact, we were betting on good numbers, and if you remember, we have taken the call option of HDFC Limited right before its results. In fact, once its results were declared, we did get a very good hike in the price of the stock, but after that it never went up to the levels. It goes up to 1840, 1845, but again it starts going for some correction. Second thing is, if you see, Sushant, HDFC Limited and Bajaj Finance are almost same sector, they are almost like peer companies. If you see Bajaj Finance from its low, this year low, it has done an upside of 100%. The stock has shown a downside of 1783, and now the stock is trading close to 3500, which means it has shown an upside of 100%. Whereas for HDFC Limited, it has shown a downside of 1473, and stock is still available at 1800 mark, which is just an upside of 22%. Which means HDFC Limited, yes, in this particular option trade, we might end up suffering some losses. I'm not very sure on that because it has not shown any upside momentum till now, but I'm still anticipating that some upside is going to come and we might recover some of our premium money in that case. But if you see, in next 1 or 2 months, you will find that HDFC Limited will show a lot of upside. Even in cash market, if people plan to buy this stock, I don't see anything wrong with it. There is a lot of upside left in HDFC Limited. For me, the minimum target for this stock is 1950. That is the least that HDFC Limited can achieve. Venkat wants to know, what about HCL Tech? Would you recommend buying it at its current price, which is close to 52-week high? Venkat, as per my investing principles, I never buy stocks at their 52-week high prices. I always wait for the right opportunity, and that is where I buy. So the stock is trading close to 729. It has shown this year a low of 375, which means the stock has already shown an upside of 100%. Yes, for the current year, they have shown good jump in their net profits. And the best part is why the stock has shown so much of upside. The main reason for that is because of the management guidance that has come. They are expecting a lot of new orders coming in the upcoming quarter, as a result of which the stock is going up. If you already have it, I would suggest you should book profits, and if you don't have it, then in that case I don't suggest making a fresh buy at this point of time. You can wait for some time, wait for some corrections, and then you can enter the stock. But is HCL Tech a good company to invest in? Definitely yes. Neeraj Kumar wants to know my take on Lupin. Okay, Lupin, guys, is one of the best companies in the pharma sector, and with all the other pharma stocks doing really good, Lupin is one stock which I always had my eyes on. In fact, last week they have declared their results, and their profit numbers have gone down from 301 crores to 108 crores, which was obviously a significant fall in their profits, almost like 60% fall in their profit figures, as a result of which last week Lupin was available at a price of 880 rupees. At 880, we did a lot of buying for our APM clients, and we knew an upside can be anticipated at any point of time, because results might have some pressure on the stock but that will be very momentary, and stock will revive very fast. And within no time, this was probably done last Friday, and within no time, that is the last week, if you see, the stock has hit almost like 140 rupees up, and now it's trading at around 1023, which is its 52-week high. So if you miss this rally, if you did not buy at the right time, then probably still upside is expected. But as I told you, I never buy stocks at their 52-week high. I got a very good opportunity because after they declared the results, the stock went down by 60 to 70 rupees. That is where I entered into the stock, and I knew an upside will come very soon, because this period we were all mentally prepared that results might not be great for any of the companies in any sector. So based on that, we have done a lot of buying in the stock, and we enjoyed this upside rally which came in less than a week. But at this price, would I enter into Lupin again? No, I would probably wait for some corrections to happen. He's also asking me what's my take on Shriram Transport. Shriram Transport is trading at 686. They have posted profits of 320 crores as against last year profits of 634 crores. But the stock is, if you see guys, the stock is available at 686, and its 52-week high is 1332, which means you still get the stock at a discount of around 50% from its 52-week high. For me, Shriram Transport hands down is one of the best stocks to invest in. Why I say that is because of the fact the company has posted good numbers for so many years. Consistently they have been posting good numbers. Yes, if the overall financial sector is under pressure, you might want to go slow with investing in Shriram Transport, but take my words, even at its current price, if I am to buy Shriram Transport, I will not give it a second thought. I will definitely do the buying. Yes, maybe I will divide my buying into two parts. Maybe I will go for a staggered buying, but that is fine. As far as long-term prospects are concerned, easy target for the stock is 800 to 850. Easy target, you can take my word, but you have to have some patience and hold on to the stock for at least 3 to 4 months. You can see those numbers coming in very soon. Mayur wants to know what about Godfrey. He purchased Godfrey at 1050. Probably you entered at a wrong price, Mayur. I have done a video on Godfrey. Please see that video. I don't want to speak too much in details right now, but Godfrey is one of the best stocks. They are involved in tobacco products. Right now the stock is trading at 938. So you might add another 50 over here and do some averaging. It's a good time. I have seen stock consolidating in this range for a long time now. Definitely you can add another 50 stocks, and in that case your average price will be close to 990, 992, and then you can wait for a target of 1050 for all these 100 shares. That is what I would suggest. If you look at its EPS, it is 74 rupees, which makes it appear very strong. Price to book value ratio is 2.2 times. PE ratio is 12.5 times. Absolutely everything looks perfect on the paper. You can definitely buy another 50 and average out and hold it with a perspective of 2 months in mind. Problem is that the results are due, and we don't expect very good numbers because of restrictions during the lockdown. The sales would have definitely gone for a toss, and probably that is the reason why the stock is under pressure. But once the results are out, after that I expect some quick recovery in the stock. In fact, last week I saw this stock around 980, 982 range, but again it has gone for some downside because Friday market has closed on a lower end. That is why you are getting this opportunity to average out. So add another 50 shares is what I would suggest. Shreyas wants to know my take on IDFC Bank, IDFC First Bank. Shreyas, I have always told this. I have made a video. You should see my video why you should not have too much exposure in banking sector. If I have to do fresh buying in banking sector, my top picks are ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, HDFC Limited. These are my top picks, and Shriram Transport can also be looked upon, and M&M Finance can be looked upon. These are the stocks I would like to buy. For me, IDFC First Bank or Yes Bank will not be in the top category. Yes, if you are looking at Yes Bank or IDFC First Bank as a penny stock and you want to make some quick returns, then yes, it's worth the risk. You can look at buying these shares. But if you're talking about wealth creation, for me there are much better stocks in banking sector before I go for IDFC or Yes Bank. Hexaware Tech, again, I feel the price to book value is very high at 6 times. P ratio is 30 times, whereas the industry average P ratio is 23 times. The results are very okay-ish. So at its current price, again, I'm not very sure if I would like to buy this stock. If you have it, probably you should book your profits once it goes past 400 range. That is what I would suggest. Akshay is asking me, is market overbought? Akshay, I think I already answered this in the beginning of the video itself. There are always good opportunities in the markets, and markets are never, for me, overbought. Just that you as an investor have to be smart to decide what stocks have to be purchased at a given point of time. If you know that art, it's always good time to enter the markets. And I don't say that because I'm an advisor. I say that because I genuinely believe that. How do you identify penny stocks? That needs a complete video, but for me, I personally believe value investing or buying penny stocks is more about fundamentals of the company being very good and still stock available in the range of 50s, 100s or 150s. So for me, that is what matters. I can give you some of the names where fundamentals apparently don't seem to be very bad, but stocks are still available cheap in the market. One of them is M&M Financial, available at 130, definitely can be purchased. Obviously, this stock has become X-right, and that is why you saw some correction in the price, but M&M Financial is one very good stock available at 130. NBCC is another stock. Some management issues are there, but still I feel that's another good stock which can be taken. Bell is another stock, Bharat Electronics Limited. We did a lot of buying for our clients in the last couple of weeks at around 97, 98, I think, giving a target of 115. So our target was done in this stock, but I still anticipate more upside in this stock. How is Cholamandalam? Cholamandalam is a very good company. The best part is they have given very good results for this quarter. The stock is trading at 218. They have an upside of they have a 52-week high of 350. Definitely more upside is anticipated in this stock. So definitely we can consider buying Cholamandalam. There is nothing wrong with it. Apart from that, yes, so for Cholamandalam, I have some data with me. As I told you, their net profits have gone up from 315 to 431 crores. Yes, one good thing is their P ratio is 15 times as against industry P ratio of 29 times. Price to book value is decently placed at 2 times. Definitely you can consider buying it. There's nothing wrong with it. Manoj is asking me, is Vatek a good company to buy? Yes, Vatek is a very good company to buy. You can definitely consider buying it at its current market price of 135 with a target of at least 160, 165 in short term. In fact, we have already recommended Vatek to our clients, and in one day it has done an upside of 18 to 20%. We were very happy on that particular day. Yes, but I feel there is still a lot of upside left in this stock. Maxon wants to know, this is the last question I'm answering. Maxon wants to know about my daily routine and how I do the analysis, how I manage everything. So Maxon, I would say this, that why I'm taking this question at the end is so if people are not interested, they can stop watching this video right away. So Maxon, what I do on a regular basis is, you know this, that I am involved in teaching CA final students. So I have a lot of traveling across India and I have to take my classes. For me, when I'm taking classes, yes, it does take a lot of toll on me, because along with classes I have to do my advisory, and in my advisory also I have always tried doing things by myself rather than depending on my team or so. So when this lockdown has come, I wanted to take this opportunity in aggressively increasing the overall advisory practice, and the one big reason for that is I strongly believe this, that there is a lot of misinformation in the market about equity trading, and somehow this is one of the best asset classes, but somehow people make it look more like a betting or gambling kind of a thing. They create a casino out of equity markets, and that is where the youngsters or even matured people, their way of doing markets is so astonishing and disappointing for me, where people have wrong expectations from the market. They come to the market, they take unnecessary risk, they lose their capital, and then they leave this market criticizing it. I feel there is a lot of misinformation, there is a lot of misguiding happening in this market, and that is why we decided that this time, since there is a lockdown, I will have my video classes. Obviously, I do have a lot of commitments to my students also. I have to answer their queries. So many queries are there, we have to answer them. There's a lot of work, but because of the lockdown, since I'm not traveling, so I wanted to focus too much on equity practice, doing it very aggressively for last 6 months or so now, and yes, it has produced some very good results for us. I started making videos more frequently. I started sharing my knowledge with people, and this is actually helping a lot of people out there. I get so many messages, and guys, it's your messages which keeps me going. Yes, now coming to your question, how do I manage this hectic schedule? Yes, it does take a toll at times with APM services, where we have to literally guide on the portfolios for high net worth investors, doing advisory work, doing future trading, option trading. Yes, it does become time consuming. As far as my schedule is concerned, for apart from the 7 to 8 hours that I sleep, I'm not exaggerating, okay, apart from the 7 or 8 hours that I sleep, most of the times I am working. But do I feel the pain because of this? Answer is no, because what I am doing is what I dreamt of 10 years back. This is what I wanted to live. This is what I wanted to experience. This is what I wanted to share. And being a faculty, this is in my blood that I want to share more and more knowledge. So you can assume like this: if I go off to sleep at 12:30 midnight, and I get up at 7:30, 7 hours of sleep I take properly. A lot of people ask me, do you even sleep? So this is where you are answered, guys. Sleeping is very important, because the kind of work I am doing, sitting in front of screen, those numbers, green and red color numbers, for those 6.5 hours, 7 hours, it's very tiring. So sleep is very important. I am very conscious about my health also. I maintain a very good diet as far as possible. Yes, I do make sure that I hit the gym at least 4 days in a week, if not possible on all 7 days, because of the hectic schedule that I am having right now. But you can assume this: if I get up at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, depending on the time I sleep, from that time till the time I sleep again, I keep working. Yes, that is the fact. Is that a good disciplined life? Probably, I don't know, but for this point of time, I'm very happy with whatever I'm doing, because I wanted to take equity advisory to the next level, and we are able to do that, where more and more people are recognizing us because of the videos that we are posting on a regular basis. A lot of students are very happy with this, because a lot of knowledge sharing is happening. So all in all, it's paying off. So, and because I'm doing something that I was passionate about, so it does not feel like an obligation or something like that. I feel I'm just doing what I love doing, so it is okay. So in between these schedules itself, I'll take out time for my family. I think sometimes it might happen that I'm not able to give them 100% time, but yes, they are also very supportive, they are very understanding, so I'm very lucky with that. But overall, I think by God's grace, things are going great. And yes, health is very important. We have to make sure whatever field you are into, whether you are doing CA or you're pursuing your course, or you're working in the industry, or you're working in Big Four, you have to prioritize your health, because only when you have your health going good for you, the rest of the things can work good. Otherwise, it becomes difficult in long term. So guys, I hope you found the video useful, and if you have any other questions, please leave it in the comment section below. Till we meet again, bye bye guys, cheers, stay bullish.